and I welcome the opportunity to comment and discuss the recent revelations of abuse in schools by the Spirit and Order. The details of the abuse and its handling by the Spirit and Order are deeply disturbing. It's heartbreaking to see so many people impacted across all of their schools, across so many generations. And at the outset, I think it's important to remember that crimes have been committed and that they should be investigated by An Garda Síochána, and this process must not be compromised. I'm conscious of this while discussing this matter today. However, clearly given the many individuals accused of abuse are now deceased, it will be for another form of investigation to deliver transparency and accountability for these victims. Earlier this month, the Spirit and Congregation, formerly the Holy Ghost Fathers, disclosed that 233 men have come forward with allegations of abuse against 77 Irish Spiritans in Ireland and overseas. Of that number, 57 men have alleged that they were abused on the campus of Blackrock College and Willow Park in Dublin. The number of people who have made allegations in relation to claims of abuse at Spiritan schools has since risen to almost 300. The Spiritans also run 3 other colleges in Dublin: St Mary's College in Rathmines, Templeogue College and St Michael's, as well as Rockwell College in Tipperary. And I've been struck by the courage of the survivors who've spoken out, particularly David and Mark Ryan, also to mention John Coulter, Corey McMahon, Louis Hoffman and Philip Fettis. I want to thank the former pupils of Blackrock College and Willow Park for their engagement over the past few weeks. It's been extremely difficult, and many members have said this today, for those individuals who have come forward and those who have yet to come forward or may never come forward. But this is very traumatising for them if they've been victim of abuse at any stage in their lives. And I know they have been stunned by the extent of the abuse, with groups meeting as far away as Sydney to discuss the situation. There is a deep sadness and outrage about what their fellow pupils have endured. They are clear there's a need for transparency and for the truth to come out. They have questions about how this could have happened over such a long period of being unabated. There's concerns about how individuals with a history of abuse could have been in a position of authority in Willow Park well into the 1990s. It is clear the Spiritans were aware of the situation and they need to provide transparency around their handling of the abuse and the perpetrators. Parents equally have been shocked by the extent of the abuse. Many worked hard to send their boys to either Willow Park and Blackrock. It is important to identify the most effective way to conduct an inquiry while also ensuring it is a survivor-centred at every stage, and I welcome the Minister's comments and indeed the Taoiseach's assurances around this. It's also important to consider previous inquiries, both statutory and non-statutory, and the lessons we can take from these, including in respect of the length of time, the findings and indeed the challenges. We have seen a number of formats for inquiries into historical sexual abuse over the past 20 years in this country. It's important that any inquiry would produce a report in a reasonable time frame, giving consideration to the needs of victims. It's also important to note that very strong child safeguarding procedures exist in all schools and the Department of Education, and indeed throughout with the Gardaí. Reflecting on revelations, one notes the motto of Blackrock College: faith and strength. And it's clear the survivors of abuse at the college have shown great strength and courage in coming forward. It is now imperative that the Government and authorities work with the survivors and their families to deliver the truth and transparency and accountability. And in conclusion, Lasca Hirlock, may I also say that indeed for the school community, the current school community, both in Willow Park and Blackrock College, the staff and the pupils themselves, and indeed the wider school community, have been there to support each other and obviously to discuss these horrific revelations. But it is imperative now that we try and establish a conclusive inquiry with the victims at the centre of that, to ensure that we uncover the truth and that justice is served and it's done speedily. Cormac.